Hey, this is Buff Bagwell, and you're watching the Card Subject to Change podcast. Check it out.
Welcome back to the show!
Welcome back to the show!
And now, your hosts of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions of the World, the Wizard CZ, and Never Wrong Nick Bull.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan. Of course, we are powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoos. And of course, you're hearing us loud and clear on the For Frequency's Sake network. Glad you're with us. Welcome back to our little corner of the world, the wrestling, the weird little world of wrestling that we all love here at the Card Subject to Change podcast. Of course, I am Never Wrong Nick Bull. I couldn't do this alone. My tag team partner is here. He is one half of the For Frequency's Sake Tag Team Champions. And he is, well, we don't know if he's a shoot wizard or not. We're still trying to figure that out. But that's neither here nor there. He is my tag team partner. He is the one. He is the only. He is the Wizard CZ. Wiz, how you doing, bud?
Man, I am doing good. It's been a fun weekend. Got to see a Zawa show last night, which I talk a little bit about in my upcoming article this Thursday. I'm back into writing, so that's good. But no, I'm excited. We've got a fun topic today and a guest that we've known for a while. And Nick, I'm going to let you give him the intro because you're going to do a much better job than I will.
Well, before we bring him in, I just want to say, this is why we do this show. There's no format. We don't really adhere to a set of rules. And I'm like, you know what? We have a friend that we haven't had on this show. And we have a friend that we all have a topic that we were friends with at one point. And it's a great discussion topic. So we're going to bring him in here right now. Don't mind him. He's just a big, dumb animal. He is a great friend of ours. We'll get to the bottom of that story as well. Don't mind him. He's a big, dumb animal. I was thinking about that earlier today, just chuckling. So we're going to get that out there as well. He is a friend of CZ and I's. He is a friend of the show. Big round of applause and a hearty welcome for Ryan Cerney, a.k.a. Renegade. Ryan, how you doing, bud?
I'm great. Thank you for that nice introduction. Thank you for bringing up the callback from his...
I'm sure we'll get there at some point.
Oh, sounds great. Yeah, no, I got to pop. You pop me with that.
Well, once upon a time, we started this show, and we might have done a show every once, way back when, but we've had one Mount Rushmore show and 224 episodes. So it's time for a second one, and we wanted to bring our friend along for that. But before we get to that, since it's your first time in the studio, and I ask all first-time guests the same question, why is it professional wrestling for you? Why pro wrestling? What got you in it? You're obviously a huge effing mark like the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't know what gave it away. Is it behind me? I don't know. I thought. I don't mean to bring it down. I wasn't ready for this question. I don't mean to bring the podcast down immediately, but I thought about it heavily earlier this year when my brother passed away. It is just what makes me feel like kid, forever. I wrote that in his eulogy, and it's just I can't remember not liking wrestling. Do you know what I'm saying? It was one of the first things that me and my brother ever remember doing together. So in that aspect, it's just the best thing ever when you can forget how old you are in a arena watching a match, like Shawn and Taker at WrestleMania 25 that I was at. I don't know if there's anything that comes close to it.
I would follow that up if we had a wrestler on what got them to become part of the business. So I'm going to spin that a little. You say wrestling's been a part of your life forever. Do you have a specific memory that you would call your earliest memory of?
Sure. Like earliest memory of getting into it?
Yes.
Yeah. My family, on my mom's side is from England, and for some reason, England, like, they were more into wrestling than America was, at least in my area growing up. So when my mom would take me and my brother over there growing up to visit, my grandmother, like down the street, there was a kid that we played with who was super into wrestling. He would let us borrow all of his tapes, and we were like 4 or 5 years old. All right, here's Royal Rumble 93. Just watch that on repeat. All right, here's Survivor Series 92. Just watch that on repeat. WrestleMania 10, watch it on repeat and just give the tape back. Do you have anything else? We'd go in there and, oh, we haven't watched that one yet, and pick that. And then also, they always had the best toys too. So if you see my Hasbro's over my shoulder, going over to England, like, oh, we can't find that guy back home, so we have to get it. And my mom's like, no, we'll just get it at home. It's cheaper. But you don't understand, Mom. We can't find the Purple Chunks Razor back home.
Yes, or the Kamala with the moon on his belly. Right?
Well, there's only like 70 of those made, so I don't think anybody found those.
We're joined here by Ryan Cerney on the Card Subject to Change podcast, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. Let's kind of laser focus in here more on today's topic. And of course, the topic for today's Mount Rushmore is our Ring of Honor Mount Rushmore. Now, Ring of Honor, I've said on several shows before, and I know what it means to CZ. And for me, it was a gateway into what independent wrestling was. It gave me introduction to guys like from Japan I had never heard of but never seen. What does Ring of Honor wrestling trigger? What does it mean to you?
Ring of Honor wrestling was like a gateway. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, but it just opened my eyes to, like, there's this other kind of wrestling out there like this. It was never on my radar. Like, independent wrestling was never my thing. It was always WWF first. I wasn't even really into WCW that much growing up. And then, Summer of Punk happens, and, friends are giving me DVDs. Like, you got to see this. It's like, what is this? And it was just blew my mind. I dove in as hard as I could.
I'm right there with you. I have I've gone to several Ring of Honor shows when I found out about them, and it's just a completely different experience from watching WWE, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on TV. Either way, it's a different experience. These indie shows, particularly Ring of Honor, who had such good production quality and such tremendous talent, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and same thing. Like, I just didn't know that existed, so it blew my mind when we started going to shows back in like 05, 06, 07.
That kind of brings us to the callback. The three of us, my first Ring of Honor show was with these two guys, and then another friend of ours, Kyle Tobias, when we drove to Collinsville, Illinois to meet Ric Flair pre-show and then go to a show. That was my first introduction to actually going to a Ring of Honor show. Well, I've been to two, I think, 2 or 3, but that was the one where, like, you got the big dumb animal line from. Well, I just remember, like, and you've experienced this more than I have, Ryan, and we in CZ, you've experienced it too. You just go to a wrestling show with a bunch of guys, and act like a complete fool and have the time of your lives, and like friendships are born. That's what I'll always remember about that night, and then going to that Ring of Honor show in Collinsville, Illinois.
Yeah, because if I remember, that was like the first time that I think you guys met Kyle, right? That was the very first time.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then here we are years later, and we're all still together talking about it. What was the title of that DVD? Like Gateway to the Midwest or something? Because they had like it was basically. I know.
Wasn't it Evolution?
I think I have the DVD over here somewhere behind me.
I've got a box of them over my shoulder, and some of them are still in the original shrink.
Wasn't that one? Maybe I'm wrong. Wasn't that one Elevation? Or it started with an E, I thought.
I think that was the second time they went back. They called it Elevation.
Was there a Flair reference?
Yeah, right. He was on the cover. I mean, he was definitely there, but.
All right, I'm gonna
find it. Yeah, I know. I'm doing it right now.
It's gonna kill me.
For those of you tuning in, we are old people. Our memories are not that great sometimes.
Yeah, it
that's
totally
why.
isn't, yeah.
That's why Google is a godsend.
Google, Wikipedia, you name it, man.
It looks like it was wrestling at the Gateway.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't? December 5th, 2008?
It was styling and
The
profiling.
That's right.
That was the one before it.
Oh man, yeah.
That's funny. Oh, good times though. I'll never forget it.
No, not I don't.
I'll
I don't
never
think
forget it
any
either.
of
I
us
mean,
will.
it was just like, all three of us worked at the same TV station at the same time, and I think like once I discovered Ring of Honor, like I'm not the one who discovered it. I mean, but once I discovered it, like, dude, I went in deep on it and like started ordering DVDs. We talked about it in another episode that we did for a monthly podcast we do. We broke down the Joe Kobashi match, and I talk about like the website and the message boards, and that's like how much I learned from Ring of Honor. Like, what are some of your early memories here of like, getting into Ring of Honor and then, finding out more stuff about it, that website and stuff like that?
Yeah, probably similar to you. I heard of it word of mouth, if anything, because before I came to TV6, I came right out of college.
Yep.
And so a coworker of mine, I worked at the student union making pizzas, and he came in with the ROH shirt. It was like ROH wrestling. And I was like, what's Row Wrestling? Like, I never heard of that before.
Right.
Yeah. And then he started telling me, you got to check this out. And then there's this guy, CM Punk, and he's doing this and he's doing that. And then he started like showing me matches, online. And then from there, I was just hooked. Like, going to the show was just a whole different experience. And then diving in from there. But yeah, it was all word of mouth at first.
And that's pretty much the same for me. It was word of mouth, and then getting to go to shows. I've been to shows in Chicago, shows in Dayton, and let me tell you, Dayton was one of their hot spots. Going to a show in Dayton, Ohio for Ring of Honor was a trip. That was an experience like no other.
Oh yeah, I remember getting those DVDs from Dayton with Chris Hero on the cover because he was from Dayton, Ohio, so he was a big star there. Yeah, after that, every time Ring of Honor came around, I would go, whether it was at Chicago Ridge, saw the Bullet Club Invasion come in there to Chicago Ridge, and Milwaukee at Turner Hall Ballroom. I saw the Mark Briscoe jump off the second floor balcony onto a table in the ring with Jim Cornette losing his mind in the corner saying, "You can't do that." But it's just on top of Kevin Steen, I believe. That blew we were sitting front row, me and Katie. And Katie, my wife, would go to shows with me too because she loved Ring of Honor too. She didn't like the overproduced stuff on TV. It was more fun being there and experiencing it because when you're that close to it, it's hard not to get into it.
Now, let me just ask you, Ring of Honor being a big independent promotion back in the day, are you going to any independent shows now? Are you still keeping up with anything on the indie scene?
Yeah, GCW I try to go to every time they come close. They kind of took the flag from Ring of Honor as far as that same indie level of show. They stream their shows. They're not really a DVD company like Ring of Honor was, Nick. Sorry, I don't know if you ever. I don't have a box of GCW DVDs over here, but like I got the streaming service, and you can just go and watch all their shows. But then there's also another promotion that's very local to Wisconsin, Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. Like Al Snow, his buddy he runs it, and Al Snow comes there all the time, and he helps trains guys, and they usually get a legend to come in once in a while. It's probably very similar to SCW,
Maybe.
Yeah, you probably.
We're just lucky. Running local.
I mean, we're lucky here in the Midwest where we are. CZ and I, you got SCW. You've got Zawa, who's a smaller organization, but they're good. You've got Central Empire. You've got Absolute Pro. We got Dreamwave up in LaSalle, Peru.
Yeah, I've been to I should have said that. I've been to Dreamwave. There's also Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago.
I've heard of it. Yep, Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago. Yep. We got a lot of them. It's a hotbed here.
Yeah. ACW out of Oshkosh. It's run by Hornswoggle. They just call him Swoggle because he's from there.
Yep.
And so you just go, and it's like his dad's taking tickets. His Swaggle's son's working his merch table, and they have like a big convention every April that I've gone to. Me and Katie have gone to the last like 4 years. They bring in like the Major Brothers and Keith. That's all their buddies. And then they had like Papa Shango and stuff. So a lot of these autographs behind me I got at that ACW show.
Oh, I'll have to keep my ears out open
Yeah,
for the upcoming one. Maybe we do a little card subject change road trip up there.
It's in April, and it's like you can get a discount from them and go do their hotel. It takes place in this convention center, and it's connected to the hotel, Nick. So for a good time, you can stay in the hotel, walk across the Sky Bridge, right downstairs to the show, and then walk right back. You never have to leave your hotel.
Wow.
It's so fun.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can go back to your room, sneak a couple brewskis at intermission, and then go back.
Well, how do you want to rip the Band-Aid off of here? The Ring of Honor, this Ring of Honor Mount Rushmore. And I guess I'll ask all three, the both of you guys this. When I was putting together mine, like my requirements were kind of what they did during their Ring of Honor meant more to me than what they did after.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of how I looked at it. Although the guys or people I've selected went on to have good things happen to them, but that's kind of how I looked at it. I didn't maybe necessarily take the 4 biggest names that ever came through Ring of Honor, but the 4 names I think are my 4. I think are all worthy. And I'm sure you guys' are too.
Okay.
And I'll be perfectly honest. I've had a lot of trouble picking 4. I have 3 solid. And then my 4th is really going to be subjective as to when we're talking, because there's so many names, so many people that I could say deserve to be on that Mount Rushmore. But it's hard. It's not easy with the amount of talent that has passed through there. And your criteria is great, Nick. I looked at that. I looked at what happened to them as Ring of Honor being their jumping point, where they went after. So I put a lot more factors into mine, but yeah, I'm excited to hear where we all go.
Oh yeah, sounds good. I would say, Nick, I didn't think of it the same way. I was just thinking of the impact they had on me within the company while I was watching.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, it's we decided to do this show and knowing you two guys, I wonder how many we'll have that are the same. I think we'll have 2. I think we'll all have one the same. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think we will absolutely all have one the same. At least one of them the same. But I think it's going to be much different though, otherwise.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to get started, I kind of already mentioned it, when we talk about how I got into it. So should we just say it now? What the number 1 is?
You can go with your number 1. My number 1,
okay.
I mean, might be different than yours, CZ. I mean, yeah, go Ryan Cerney, your number 1 entrant. The first person you're going up there and climbing up on the mountain and etching out with a hammer and a stake. Who is on your Ring of Honor Mount Rushmore?
I mean, that was probably the easiest one of the 4, but it's CM Punk, because it's like I'm not watching Ring of Honor. I'm not hearing about Ring of Honor from the guy in the kitchen at Sbarro Pizza if it wasn't for CM Punk.
No,
I would say that's probably a pretty big. I mean, that's a big one. What he did in Ring of Honor got a lot of eyes on the product, and it brought a lot of outside wrestling fans that didn't know about Ring of Honor, like us 3 dorks in this room,
right?
And you heard about CM Punk through the trilogy that he had with Samoa Joe. Like they had 3 amazing matches, this back and forth. I remember seeing CM Punk at the Masonic Temple in Rock Island, Illinois, once upon a time in front of like 75 people. So like I heard about him back then, and I'm like, I've seen him, and he's in Ring of Honor. And then on top of that, the dude signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor championship belt. I mean,
yeah.
The most FU indie thing, whatever. It was great. It was great.
To antagonize Mick Foley. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
During that whole promo. Like you didn't know if it was real or not. The contract looked like it was, a Word document where you copied and pasted like the WWEF or logo at the time on the top of it. You're like, this can't be real. But but the fact that you thought about it like that was like great. Like it could be real, it could not. And then he shows up. So the whole time we were just enthralled, the matches, the DVDs, the Joe versus Punk that I basically got around the same time working with you at the station, great matches, hour long, white balance aside. Those are really good matches to watch.
You photogs in your white balance.
Well, white balance, and then
It's very important.
how far has wrestling come, Cerney, when shitty handhelds on these our Ring of Honor DVD releases today.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all that, if we want to get technical about shooting, like they're all using 3 separate cameras and then just syncing them later, where now it's so easy to just set up like 3 iPhones and sync them together into a program on your laptop and just you could switch. You're basically doing technical directing on your laptop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't mean to get too technical on the video stuff, but
no,
yeah, I thought it was funny.
Some callbacks there. The white balance. I hadn't white balance in a long time.
Yeah. You don't need to though. They're all auto white balance. All the cameras.
That's right. CZ about CM Punk.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. Give us what you think about CM Punk and Ring of Honor, and he's on your Mount Rushmore, I'm assuming.
He is
Okay.
not my number one, but he definitely is there.
Sure.
He's definitely one of the go-to people you think of. You think Ring of Honor and CM Punk's name. If his name doesn't come up, there's something wrong with you, or you just don't know the history as well as you should.
Right.
Because you mentioned the legendary matches with Samoa Joe. The trilogy there was excellent. The contract signing, and just the whole summer of Punk, which WWE tried to recreate in their manner in 2011. But yeah, he's synonymous with Ring of Honor because he was the forefront of that movement for a long time.
I mean, the list can go on and on with Punk. I mean, we could be here all night. He had memorable interactions, not only with Joe, but a good feud with Raven, a feud with Jimmy Rave, the late Jimmy Rave. May he rest in peace. I'm trying to think. He had stuff going. He had stuff with Ricky Steamboat. So, I mean, great matches. A guy that everybody can like. If you're a Punk fan, a big enough Punk fan, Ring of Honor was a big thing and a big step for him along the way. So I think CM Punk being on the Mount Rushmore of Ring of Honor is a pretty obvious one, but an impactful one if you've seen what he's done. I mean, done so much more after leaving Ring of Honor, success in AEW as well with his stint over there. But yes, Ring of Honor, CM Punk, synonymous. They belong together.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you my number one. And I'm picking him as my number one because of the emotion elicited just by his entrance alone, let alone his in-ring ability and his all-around athleticism and greatness. And I still, every time I hear the final countdown, get chills. Bryan Danielson has to be, if he's not in the picture, then I don't know. He's got to be my number one because, like I said, seeing him live was just an experience. The final countdown plays. He comes out. He stands on the turnbuckle with his finger raised in the air. Just his presence was amazing.
You're gonna think I'm the biggest piece of shit, Wiz. He's not on mine. Do, but... I don't have him on mine, and that's not a knock. That was tough. I left Bryan Danielson off mine. I love that he's on yours and he's not on mine. I love it. I can't argue it. I can't. When you see all mine, and you'll see why, but Bryan Danielson had an amazing Ring of Honor career. So many different people he faced. I can think of one. Is Nakajima? it was on a Japanese talent exchange, and I can't remember quite name, but he just meshed well with everyone. Like underdog, smaller dude, the entrance, everybody got behind him. And if you were on the message boards back in the day, I would have called him probably like the first indie darling that we knew of, right? Renegade, like everyone like was in on Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, whatever, Bryan Danielson at the time. Is he on your Mount Rushmore? He's on CZ's. Is he on your Mount Rushmore?
He is not on my top 4. But if there was a 5 or 6 honorable mentions, yeah, 100% he's there. Like you said, Zach, that there's the entrance is huge. That's only a thing. Like that's why he's so synonymous to Ring of Honor. Like that's only a thing on AEW pay-per-views because of his run in Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
right.
His feuds in Ring of Honor, you can't deny against Nigel, and especially Nigel and Chris Hero and everybody else. And Indie Darling is the best way to sum it up because being the first one, because he was like, I don't know if anti CM Punk was the right term, but when CM Punk got massive and everybody in Ring of Honor was talking about CM Punk, they're all like, no, it's Bryan Danielson. He's our guy now. Like he was like basically taking the torch as far as the fans concerned for who were supporting. Okay, CM Punk left us. Now who is it? And it was Danielson. I think I would say so.
And Cerney, you mentioned, honorable mention, if there were 5 or 6 or even 10, I could give you a top 10 Ring of Honor wrestlers in a heartbeat. There's just so many great names to come out of there. That's why it was so hard for me to pick a 4th. That's why I don't have a solid number 4 for my Mount Rushmore. It's going to be, I think if my Mount Rushmore, if I'm picturing ideally, the 4th one is going to be a holographic, and it's going to change depending on
like a McDonald's Happy Meal. Like every 3 to 4 weeks, just cycle it in and out with somebody else. I got you. I know what you mean. Renegade had CM Punk as his number 1. CZ had Bryan Danielson as his number 1. I've acknowledged CM Punk is on my Mount Rushmore. Or is he?
You didn't say either way.
Did I?
No.
I'm going to throw number 1 out there. My number 1 in Ring of Honor on the Mount Rushmore is Samoa Joe.
Yes.
Kind of the champion that took the belt, and they started when he was champion. The company was doing bigger things, like actually going around the world. He's the one that kind of made it a world title by all these different tours that they did around the world, the length of that big run, the big matches of that big run, not only the Punk trilogy, but what many consider possibly the greatest match in Ring of Honor history, him and Kenta Kobashi, how big that dream match was, right, Renegade? We'll talk about dream match here in a little bit. I'm going to... I may have, but Joe is my number 1, and that I love this that we all have different guys so far because I think we're probably going to cross up here in a little bit.
Joe is definitely on my list for sure, and he would probably be my number 2. And
I'm not saying they didn't have good champions before him, but
right.
Hogan. Okay, think of Hulk Hogan in the Rock and Wrestling era. That would be, to me, like Samoa Joe with the Ring of Honor title in Ring of Honor. Like, he really, made it bigger, expanded it.
Yeah, that's a good analogy because it felt like he held the belt, all through those years. And, Punk's not really getting over without those matches with Joe's the way he did those hour-long matches. The trilogy, it was in such demand. And Joe is obviously the better worker. CM Punk just, just took over the attention.
Well, yeah, CM Punk, it's what's great about any feud, right? Joe was the better worker. Mm-hmm. Joe was probably better in ring, but Punk's the guy on the mic. Punk's the draw. Punk filled in the weaknesses that Joe didn't have, and they come together and make this big story. So, yeah, it's not like that one's better than the other. dude, they were great. They both needed each other, and they both benefited from it. I mean, have you ever seen anybody lose 3 matches in a trilogy and they still look? I mean, and
right,
you know,
and they still
everybody now when they do a trilogy gets so butthurt because when's who going to get their win? And, you know, now he lost all 3 of them, but they were still all great. You know, that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, I mean, he almost never. Yeah, he would have never. CM Punk. It's funny. He almost never won the title. It was only during that, Summer of Punk time when he was on the way out. But it was because he didn't need to, because he had those matches. But again, Joe putting him over. So what can you say?
No, I've got Joe as number 1. Renegade has Punk as his number 1. Wiz, you had Daniel or Brian Danielson, Daniel Bryanson, whatever.
Daniel Bryan. Yeah, famous Daniel
Brian
Bryan.
Danielson Bryan. That's his new name. Brian Danielson Bryan.
Yep, the hyphen. Brian Danielson Bryan, the hyphen. Okay.
Brian Danielson Garcia.
I will go with you, CZ, as what is your number 2 on the Ring of Honor Mount Rushmore here on the Card Subject to Change podcast?
Well, number 2, very close second. You just mentioned his name, and that's Samoa Joe. I mean, that match with Kobashi alone cements him as being on the Mount Rushmore of anyone in Ring of Honor, in my opinion, let alone the trilogy and all of his other great matches and carrying the title as well as he did.
I can't disagree with it. I mean,
he had a great entrance too.
Oh, great!
He had a great entrance too. The champ is here, good song. I'm putting that up against CM Punk's AFI entrance, huge. Like, those are great entrances for those matches.
Absolutely. And can we talk about, I really loved Joe's work with Jay Lethal. Whether they were working together or when they had the rivalry, I don't think Jay Lethal is going to be on anybody's Mount Rushmore for Ring of Honor. Dude, the guy's amazing. I think he's one of the most underappreciated guys in the business, but I love Joe and Lethal's work. So wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, yeah. Not underrated opponent for him. You don't really hear that mentioned, Jay Lethal for him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Renegade. Ryan, number 2 for you on your Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Like I said, at the top, it was just kind of like the guys that meant a lot to me when I was at the top of my fandom for them, when they were the hottest for me. So my number 2 is going to be who was champion the majority of that time that I was, into it the most and going to shows, which is Nigel McGuinness. So being also, again, I started off talking about how my family's from England, him having that England connection. I related to that. And, in his story growing up, I've met him a few times when he was the commentary.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, when he was doing the commentary for Ring of Honor, I met him coming up through there. I got the DVD signed. If you haven't seen the documentary, The Last of McGuinness, it's pretty heartbreaking, but it's a very good documentary. Self-produced, self-funded, self-released documentary. I definitely recommend it.
Is that on YouTube?
It might be now. It wasn't at the time. It was strictly he was selling DVDs at his merch table at Ring of Honor and autographing them. I have it right over in that shelf there. So, I would definitely, if you can try, it probably is now because it is an independent release.
I'll follow through. He's my number 2.
Oh, really? There we go.
He absolutely is. I would take this guy, sure, this guy and Joe cross paths, but Nigel to me was kind of the guy after the first batch of big names all left. And he kind of took it to the next step, took it to the next era of Ring of Honor, if you will. When Joe and Punk and Brian Danielson, he had great rivalry with Danielson. Nigel really brought the mid-card title, the pure title at the time, a huge run with the pure title. And the fans loved it despite the fact that he was a heel. It just seemed like when Nigel McGuinness took that title off, let me see if I could, Takeshi, is it?
Takeshita?
No, not Takeshita.
Morishima.
Morishima. Yeah. When he took the belt off him, I'm like, you kind of could feel like something big's going to happen here,
Mm-hmm.
and this reign was going to be something. And the fact that Nigel was so good at being an asshole, and it made me love him even more. And Nigel is probably my second favorite wrestler, maybe my favorite wrestler in Ring of Honor. It's 1 and 2 with another guy who will be on the Mount Rushmore.
And his story, like, and it's, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
Again, going back to the story being heartbreaking, like, he was so good, he never reached his full potential because he was injured all the time. The only reason he wasn't there in Collinsville, he was the champion at the time, Nick, but he was injured and saving himself for that following WrestleMania weekend, where I was there in Houston and saw him lose the title to Jerry Lynn. Like, that was a massive show for Ring of Honor at the time at a WrestleMania weekend when WrestleMania weekends weren't as they are now. You know, just
they would have Supercard of Honor, correct? Would be one of the shows, and then another show would be something special. Yeah, I agree. I would, if we could all settle everything here in the wrestling world in this room, I would go back to one night WrestleMania, and I would have NXT back on Saturday night, and I would have Ring of Honor featured on Friday night. It's not that way now. But no, Nigel was a big deal, a big thing for Ring of Honor. And he's definitely on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before we go into number 3, we got to take a time out. Our flagship show for Fantasy's Sake, celebrating their 100th episode next week at Kavanaugh's. We're just going to give them a little love and promote that. So we'll be back in about 45 seconds or so.
All right. We'll see you right.
Big news, fantasy fans. We are hitting a huge milestone. The 100th episode of For Fantasy's Sake, and we're going back to where it all began, Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill in Rock Island. Mark your calendars, Sunday, November 16th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. Join the crew for football talk, fantasy insights, laughs, and a little friendly banter as we celebrate 100 episodes and dive into the rest of the fantasy season. Expect giveaways, league chatter, and maybe even a few surprise guests. Grab a drink, hang out, and be a part of the live recording at the bar that's been our home from the very start. Whether you've been with us since episode 1 or just joined this season, this is one party you won't want to miss. See you at Kavanaugh's.
Hello, this is Mick Foley, and you are listening to the Card Subject to Change podcast.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks, Mick. Always good to hear from our buddy Mick Foley. And here on the second half of episode 224, here on the Card Subject to Change podcast by the fan, for the fan, of course, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. I am never wrong, Nick Bull, joined by my tag team partner, the Wizard CZ. We are joined in the studio tonight by a former co-worker of ours and a longtime wrestling friend, Ryan Cerney, Renegade, dumb animal. I promise you we're going to get to that. I promise you. But we're discussing Ring of Honor.
It's pretty confusing with all the different names. I don't know how many are going to get that.
We'll get there. We're going to get there.
All right. Sounds great.
Because I got to get the full story on it, because I'm kind of like losing bits and pieces from that night. But we've each kind of revealed 2 names so far. Renegade has selected CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
McGinnis.
Nigel McGinnis. Sorry.
Yeah, mine was Punk and Nigel. Yep.
CZ has selected Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe.
Yep.
I have selected Samoa Joe and Nigel McGinnis. I'm going to go with number 3. I'm going to get my number 3 out there before somebody else beats me to it. I know this guy was the first Ring of Honor wrestler I ever met. I never got a pick or an autograph, but got a handshake out of him. This guy, man, his death really hit me hard. I'm going with Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe was in Ring of Honor from show number 1, was on undoubtedly the greatest tag team that ever was in Ring of Honor, and was a part of so many matches. Maybe of this whole Mount Rushmore, Jay Briscoe might be in the most of the matches that I like from Ring of Honor. Of course, tagging with Mark Briscoe of the Briscoe Brothers. But the late Jay Briscoe is number 3 on my Mount Rushmore. And I know, Renegade, you've got a great story about Jay Briscoe. And that's why I said I wanted to lead into this. You've met Jay Briscoe. He took some incredible time with you and your boy Gavin. And I want the world to know about Jay Briscoe.
Oh, yeah. Be glad to. And as long as we're doing the list here, I was going to kind of cheat it a little bit and say my number 3 was going to be the Briscoe brothers, the tag team. So I'm right there with you at number 3.
I kind of wanted to do that too, bud, but I'm like, it's a Mount Rushmore. I can only have 4. I kind of gave the default to Jay because Jay had the 2 world title rings, but that doesn't take away anything from Mark.
Either way, they're fine. I know you're more honorable than me. You're never wrong. We know that. So, So can I share pictures on here?
I'm not sure how. There should.
We can try. We can try.
At the bottom, at the bottom of my screen, there's a presentation button.
Yeah, hold on. I got something even better. If we want to talk about this story,
this is what I love about our show, man. We're not structured. We're on the fly like this, and I love it. But Jay Briscoe for me, first wrestler I met in Ring of Honor. Loved his matches. I thought he had character, charisma. We'll talk more about Jay in a bit, but I know I know you had a great interaction with him, Ryan, and I wanted that story to be told.
So hanging up on my wall is close. You just saw me go get it. This mounted and framed picture that my wife made me of this virtual.
Oh, we can see it. No, yeah.
Oh, you got it? Okay, so that's my son in the middle with the real ROH title when Jay Briscoe was the champion back then. And that's, me, obviously, but my son with John dressed up as John Cena in a Ring of Honor show. But Jay took the time. He came out. He got right down on Gavin's level, took his hand, looked him right in the eye and said, I hope you're having a great time. It's all about he's holding the belt out to him like this and putting his hand on it. And I'm the one marking out because my son didn't really. And Jay could not care less that I was there. He only wanted to talk to my son and just make sure he was having and included. You know what I'm saying? That's very difficult for a lot of people to do. I've met other wrestlers that are not the same way. Nick Nemeth was another one who was just like Jay, got down on his level and talked to him. So it really meant a lot at that time because it was so new to us, all the things you were going through. Like you can see how he's in the wheelchair. That was a new wheelchair at the time. He was only about 4 years old. So we're still.
You and Gavin both look like kids there.
Right. Ear to ear. And that was just an amazing moment that he would take that time. And I'm the one trying to tell him I had a great time at your match in Collinsville. It's he could care less about what I went. But rightfully so. I'm an adult. It's all about the kids when you boil it down to it when it comes to those interactions. And he just wanted to make sure that my son was, felt included. So I'll always remember him for that. And that's why, like you said, the death hit you hard, Nick. Same with me. And for that reason, I went over those pictures, that day after. Yeah, it was just very tough.
What a class act.
Yeah, 100%.
Selfishly, when he died, I was bummed. I'm never going to get to meet him. And then I immediately thought of you and how cool he was with Gavin and how you.
We met him didn't we meet him in Collinsville, Nick?
Yeah, I shook his hand and met him, but I didn't get to shoot the shit with him for a couple minutes type of deal, or a picture. We shook hands in passing. Yeah. Shook his hand at Collinsville. I did meet him. I guess I did meet him.
I was just saying,
got that opportunity later.
I know it's not the greatest. I think he was coming out of the bathroom, but
it was.
Yeah.
But we weren't sitting there waiting for people to come out. We were just kind of standing there, and he just kind of ran into us.
We were just walking past, because that was the kind of place it was. Everybody's using the same bathroom because there's only one.
And he was in the opening match that night against Roderick Strong.
That's right. Yeah, singles match.
Yep. Yes, it
probably because Mark was hurt. Because Mark was always hurt.
Yeah, correct. Mark was always hurt or having a kid.
And you just said it, outside of the ring, the great father, everything they were talking about at the funeral. And man, if you want to hear something sad about him, listen to the way Jay Lethal talked about him after he died. Find that interview because he can't get through it, man. It's so sad.
And I love Jay Briscoe from the early eras, but I think I love him more because the Briscoes and FTR had an amazing trilogy of matches. Yeah. And I'm a tag team mark. I think people have always known that. I love the Briscoes. I love FTR. And like when that dream match happened, that first match happened, like that to me was a dream match because never did they ever work together. The match wasn't really ever promoted on TV. But then these three go out there, or these four individuals go out there and have an amazing trilogy of matches. Awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, I just found this picture. Look at the smile on Jay's face, just meeting my son and showing him the belt. Like,
that's Chicago Ridge, isn't it?
Yep, that's Chicago Ridge. That's close to my where I grew up, and I grew up near the suburbs of Chicago. So that was like my hometown place. But yeah, look how happy he was just to share that moment with my son. And this was before the show. We got to go in before it started. There, look, they're working it out in the ring right there. So,
can you tell who's in the ring?
One of them is definitely Roderick Strong. He was there. I can't tell who the other one was. Maybe the Beer City Bruiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I had to get that out there. I love Jay Briscoe. I love those tag matches. Probably when we're done recording, I'll probably pick one of those tag matches and watch tonight. Like they're so good.
Awesome.
Yeah. But he is definitely on my Mount Rushmore. And as a floating exhibit, I'd put Mark there as well. I don't think there's any tag team that could go above them in Ring of Honor for tag teams. They're the greatest. And just because, man, Jay's the best, man. And the Jay Driller, for crying out loud.
Beating Kevin Steen with it to win the title at that Super Card of Honor.
Give me back my bullets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When they went to that one, that's great. And if that show was famous, he won the title. It was also famous for Ring of Honor not really getting the hang of streaming at the time, and it cut out in the main event, so we didn't see the finish until after.
Oh man, well I'll tell you what. Anybody? I didn't mean to hog the spotlight there on the Jay Briscoe.
Okay, me neither. Sorry.
I wanted to gush about him a little bit. CZ, anything to add before we peel another number off?
No, you guys said it all. I can't add to that. I can't top that. I mean, I will say I haven't given my number 3 yet, but we've already talked about him. That's CM Punk.
Okay.
Neon Lights, Nobel Prize, CZ makes or Punk makes CZ's Mount Rushmore. I like it. No, for sure.
Anything
we all have one left.
You remember? Right? Yep.
We all have one left. My number 4, CM Punk. I mean, he's on there. He fulfills it. So mine is Joe, Nigel, Jay Briscoe, CM Punk. Those are the 4 guys I enjoyed the most when I was watching. I kept up with it later, but was more in it when these guys were in it. All 4 guys were great. There's not really much more you can say about CM Punk. I mean, he went on to main event of WrestleMania, and Joe went on to do great things in TNA and WWE. Maybe not so much in WWE, but NXT for sure.
Yes.
But I'm comfortable with that with that Mount Rushmore. I'm interested to see who you guys each have as your number 4, because if I don't hear a particular name, I'm going to ask about that era but I want to hear number 4, so we'll give it to our guest, CZ. Renegade, who is your number 4?
I went back and forth for a while on this one on number 4. Brian, like I said, Bryan Danielson was an honorable mention. But again, going back to when we were going to shows and what it meant to me, had to be Addicted to Love, Rhett Titus. I'm kidding. That's a good one.
Rhett Titus.
There's your clip of the show right there.
I like him a lot.
Face it, you're addicted to love. Rhett Titus.
he came to Rose and he was handing out his hotel cards and everything. It was great fun. Not ahead of Bryan Danielson, I'll say, but still great fun. So for me, it is more personal. Again, going back to who was on top and who was doing things when.
Oh, hold on.
I think he's still with us.
I'm here. Yeah, I was like, I'm here. Okay, so
That was weird.
yeah, it was really weird. The things like it meant to me when I was into it, and like he was so. My wife and I met him a bunch, and he had great matches. I saw him as the champion, Kevin Steen, and then when he went to NXT, like that felt like seeing your college player, your favorite college player, go to the NFL and start for your favorite team. So like somebody I watched at Illinois and go to Chicago Bears. So that's how I felt when he went up, because he did so good, great matches. I mentioned that Turner Hall match against the Briscoes where, he took the splash from Briscoe off the balcony through a table, him fighting with Jim Cornette, about the title. Just, yeah, Kevin Steen for me.
That's a great, and he, I told you, my fourth is very subjective and depends on my mood. Steen is one of those that could fill that fourth spot. I'll just mention a few names that came to mind. Chris Hero would be on there. If I had narrowed down to one, it's going to be not an experience an experience that I was part of, but not my personal experience. I was in Chicago with my friend Joanna. Kevin Steen was hanging out outside the curtain after the show, and Joanna was the biggest fan of this gentleman. So he had Kevin Steen go back and bring him out of the curtain. And the fact that he stayed in this character was just, it was a very special moment for me. And I'm sure it was for her as well. More so for me, but being a part of this and seeing him interact as El Generico, mask was on. He came out and Joanna's like, "Can I take a photo?" He's like, "Oh, photo. Yeah, see. It was brilliant. And if he's not Mount Rushmore worthy, he's definitely in the conversation. And I think if I had to narrow it down to a solid 4 right now, that's who it's going to be.
Getting back, both great choices. I love both those guys. Both great choices. Both great muses for the Briscoe brothers as well. Go check out the Ladder War. We've talked about that. CZ. I know that's probably one of your favorite Ring of Honor matches. The Ladder War, and then the Blood Edit with the birth of the Age of the Fall. So many good memories there. But let me talk about Kevin Steen for a little bit, and I'll talk about El Generico. Kevin Steen's been really good for a long time. And I don't think he gets his roses or gets his flowers, if whatever one you want to say. I effing hated that dude in Ring of Honor because, like, he was a great heel. Like, I hated him. You hated his kind of oily, pimpy face with a scraggly beard. And then you watch this guy, like you said, it's kind of like your favorite college guy making it to the pro teams. When you kind of like meet somebody before they've kind of really exploded, I would say maybe mine's El Hijo del Vikingo. I got to meet him before he like exploded. So, I mean, that'd be mine. And I think you've met him too, maybe Renegade. But
Steen?
No, the Vikingo.
Oh yeah, Vikingo.
Yeah.
Great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And Steen to me is like Steen would have, you hear, I hate to make this, about WWE, but you hear about Gunther, how Gunther would work in any era. Put Kevin Steen on that list too. Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. He could work in any era. He really could. Like, he's so good. And then when you had him and Generico together and how, Generico was the goofy face or was the goofy one. And Owens or Steen, Kevin is trying to keep him, locked in. And it was such a good dynamic. And of course, with any great team like that in a dynamic, they have to have their blow off. And those guys had great matches. So I understand both of them. El Generico is He's legendary in Ring of Honor. Like, everybody knows who El Generico is. You don't even have to. El Generico, boom. And I remember watching Ring of Honor when El Generico was wrestling and not knowing who he was and just couldn't believe all the crazy shit that he was doing.
Yeah.
The guy was nuts.
And the fact that he trained Sami Zayn before he retired to help those orphans.
Just gonna bring that up. So the legend grows and grows and grows. That he's helping missionaries in in South America.
Yes.
He's an angel.
I honorable mentions for me. I was a huge Larry Sweeney guy. I miss him.
Yes.
I still have the T-shirt. I bought the last Sweet and Sour shirt at Collinsville that night, and I still have that shirt. Miss Larry Sweeney. If you wanted to include Mark Briscoe as the tag champs, Danielson, of course, has to be on there. Is an honorable mention, but those were the guys. And Renegade, I was pausing to wait to hear your fourth, and I'm glad you said Kevin Steen. I wasn't thinking you were going to go that way. Because after I got out of Ring of Honor, I know you were still heavy into it.
Yeah.
And that was, I got out of it before Adam Cole became big. Adam Cole was in the preliminary matches when I got out.
Mm-hmm.
And, the same kind of with Kenny Omega. I knew who Kenny Omega was, but he wasn't who the Kenny Omega is today.
Right.
Those later years of Ring of Honor, who would you say is the wrestler that represents that time the best? For guys like me that probably weren't close.
Yeah, sure. I would say it's probably Adam Cole, because he won the title. He held the title multiple times. He dropped it to Cody Rhodes right before the AEW conversion happened. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And you could say Kenny Omega, he was a huge star for Ring of Honor, but it was only because it was they're New Japan first. The Bullet Club invasion was huge, but Adam Cole was a Ring of Honor guy. He started with Future Shock with Kyle O'Reilly. Then he put Kyle O'Reilly in the mix, but Adam Cole was the one who was on top when Cody came in.
That's kind of the name that I think. I mean, I wanted you to say it because you've seen it and lived it more than I did, but I would probably say that would kind of have been the name.
Other honorable.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say other honorable mentions that I had for my list were Chris Hero, Tyler Black, being from your guys' area. I shared a waiting room at a auto repair place with him, and that's how I found out what his real name was. Because they called his name. He was like, "Your car's ready." Colby Lopez, your car's ready. So shout out there. So
can I just give another honorable mention shout out that we haven't even mentioned, because he's such a brilliant in-ring tactician, Claudio Castagnoli.
Very European, Claudio Castagnoli.
Very European. Him and Hero were the kings of wrestling, man. They had a long title reign. Oh,
I have that DVD compilation, Kings of Wrestling.
Of course, I do too. And I don't think the shrink wrap's off it yet.
That's hilarious.
Do you remember making those Ring of Honor video orders? We'd be like,
"Yeah, I know. You get
sale.
Get 3 for $15. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free or something."
Oh, those were the days.
Going through the list is what's on this match? Oh, Dream Match. Gotta get that one.
Hey, let's wrap up a couple things here.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's talk about the whole joke we make about Dream Match.
I mean, it started just by seeing it on the back of the box, this is a dream match. Okay, who's deciding that this is a dream match? It's they just need some kind of stipulation to put on there, and it's Bryan Danielson versus, somebody local maybe, but he's big for that area, but I don't know if this is a dream come true for me. And then we'd always if we're watching Raw and then there's a match coming up, we'd be like, oh, Punk's wrestling I don't know who's at the time. I've seen a dream match where we put the 3 stars in front of it and the 3 stars after.
Yep, that's when you reference it. Yeah. I mean, there are definitely some dream matches, but man, it's thrown out there sometimes way too much. Way too much.
It was like every other DVD that came out had a dream match. I was like, you guys are sleeping a lot.
Wait, I think I know who the dream match was, and it was during when Matt Hardy was in Ring of Honor. It would have been Matt Hardy against who though? Like Fallen Angel?
Christopher Daniels?
Yeah,
maybe
like that.
Samoa Joe. I remember seeing Matt Hardy at a Ring of Honor show in Chicago Ridge. And who did he wrestle that night?
And then to get back to where we started here at the beginning of the show on Card Subject to Change, myself, CZ, Renegade, and our friend Kyle, we went to Ring of Honor. This was back in
09.
Met Ric Flair. He signed stuff, but it was no pictures. I remember because the line was so, they just signed stuff. And then we went to the show. We received the awful news on the drive home that Test had passed away. That's how I'll always remember that night. And then did we stop at a Denny's?
Yeah, we did stop at a Denny's. Yeah.
We stopped at a Denny's. You're high after we're high off the excitement, the adrenaline after a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And did you drop? Was it the waitress? We were,
Yeah. No, I bumped into the waitress when she had a plate of food. Yeah. And it was somebody else's food, not our table. And it kind of went everywhere. And then, I'm sorry. I was apologizing like crazy as I think it was Kyle who was like, oh, he's just a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks? Because it's a quote from Tommy Boy.
Yeah,
because that's from Tommy Boy. He's a big dumb animal, isn't he, folks? And then we started saying it around, the station and stuff. So
we said it when she came back that night too, and it was a total accident.
I know, right? And we were just like, I was bumbling around. I was just so excited. I was buzzing after the show. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. Oh, I'm gonna go over here. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh. And
then what's
Nick's gonna need a moment.
One of the most well-timed lines that I've been.
Oh yeah, Kyle's got good timing when it comes to comedy lines.
He's just a big dumb animal. Oh man, but no. We had a great time, and of course, it was through wrestling. And I'm glad that we got to get on here, go down memory lane a little bit, tell some stories about the product that we really love. That was Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
I know.
You mentioned, if you're wrapping up, before you wrapped up, you also called me Renegade a couple of times. Do you even know how I got that name?
I've heard a couple different stories. You were Renegade before you were that, Cerney to me.
Yeah.
But I know that when we're all together, everybody just says Renegade, so I call you Renegade.
Yeah, I mean, that was my nickname in college because I was on the rugby team, and everybody on the rugby team had nicknames. But like the way I got it it's so stupid. I don't know if you heard the complete origin of how I got the name.
I'm all ears.
No? Okay. So like I said, I played rugby. Everybody had a nickname. So it's my rookie season, and they're just trying to give all the rookies nicknames. Like, get it out of the way. It's like that scene in Animal House. Like, you're going to be Mothball. Why not? So they're going through, and then they settled on me. I had my long hair at the time, like longer than yours, Nick. It was I know. Yeah.
It was down near your waistline.
It was, yeah, because it looked like Dimebag Darrell's hair from Pantera. Like, it was long, curly, and thick. I had it tied, all the time in a ponytail in the back, but it was like so straggly and just thick and curly. So they thought I looked like the guy from Penn and Teller, at the time with that type of ponytail. But this is why it's so stupid. So they started calling me Teller. That was my nickname. That's the wrong guy. Penn's the guy with the ponytail. So then they all felt stupid. It's like, okay, we got to find you a new nickname. So they're like, oh, you remember that show back in the 80s? The guy who had a big ponytail and he rode a motorcycle? What was the name of that show? Oh, Renegade. Yeah, you're Renegade because of that show with Lorenzo Lamas.
Ooh, hey. I didn't think Lorenzo Lamas would get brought up.
Yeah. the good stuff. Yeah, that's the story.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I was glad we were able to meet up and do this.
Yeah, same. I had a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun. This eerily feels like we're all back working at Channel 6, and I'm starting to have a fever night.
Yeah, we're getting ready to have a beta tape thrown down the hall.
Oh. Are you going to any
newsroom.
wrestling shows coming up you're going to on your radar?
Well, I'm probably thinking of going to like GCW's coming to Talia Hall in Chicago, which is a really good venue for them. You know, it's not like a typical GCW show because they don't allow glass at this venue because it's too nice for them. So they still do good matches. It's a lot of fun. Oh, I sent you the picture. That's where we saw Micro Man hit somebody with a micro chair. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun. So I'll probably do that. And then, we always kick back and forth going to that Oshkosh show in April. So if you're serious, let me know. We could get rooms and stay at the same place and just walk over to the show.
Oh, that might be something to think about.
All right. When they announce it, I'll let you know.
For sure. I'll have my ears and eyes open for that. Look forward to seeing that, and that'd be great. We all get together and hang.
I know, right?
So, CZ, do you have anything else?
Other than just talking about what's coming up, I think that's pretty much it.
I think now's the time.
Yeah. So, this coming Saturday, Zach Takis and I for sure will be in Waterloo. I'm not sure, Nick, what your schedule's looking like yet.
I'll be close to you. I might be close to you guys, but I don't know how close.
That's fair.
Might be a neck of the woods. We'll see.
We've got another pre-show podcast party number 7 coming up. Next Sunday, after his title match against Brandon the Shank Eubanks, we have Waterloo's least wanted, Mr. Cole Cannon, coming on the show. Will he have that title? We'll wait and see. Stay tuned. And then Zach and I are back a week early this month with Wrestling with Fitness. We're on November 19th, just because we don't want to do the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then we go on our holiday break after that, Zach and I. So we'll be back in January after that. But we've got a gentleman by the name of Doc Haywood, who's big in DDPY. So I'm looking to get some tips from him. He is the diamond standard of color commentary. So be interesting to talk wrestling with him and talk all about that. But yeah, that's what's coming up in our world. But want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are the Card Subject to Change podcast, the podcast by the fan for the fan, powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, and colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo. For my tag team partner, Mr. Never Wrong Nick Bull, I am the Wizard CZ. Thank you all for tuning into this fun Ring of Honor Mount Rushmore edition of Card Subject to Change. We'll see you back here next weekend for a double dose with the pre-show podcast and Cole Cannon. Everybody go enjoy your wrestling weeks. Come on.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook,